So our official countdown has just begun. So in 5 minutes, we'll be starting this wonderful panel. And again, thank you so much for coming. It's a great day for Newark. We're doing history together, having a so much needed conversation. So in 5 minutes, we're going to go live on Facebook, live on YouTube, because our voices from Newark have to be heard around the world. So stay with me.
One, we are live, everybody.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Casa de Paco. Welcome, Small Business Week. But it's just not any Small Business Week. It's Newark Small Business Week, everybody. It is my pleasure to be here with this wonderful responsibility, but I love it because I see so many familiar faces and faces that I love and people that give such an honorable contribution and make Newark definitely one of the best food destinations in the country for sure. I know it. You know it. You know it. We all know it. But are we there yet? Get it? Do we deserve even more, and for more people to actually share this experience? I think so. Do you think so? Are you? So that's why we're here. So if you think so, I have good news for you. You're right. You're in the right place at the right time. But I'm Carlos. I'm co-founder of PLUSABLE. This panel discussion was also brought to you by Newark Happening. Ricardo Salazar, thank you so much. Powered by Equal Space. Medina, City Medina in the building. Curated by yours truly, but to give you an even better warm welcome, I have my dearest friend, Ligit Freitas, Deputy Mayor of the East Ward.
I'm getting old. If I sit down and on behalf of Mayor Raza Baraka, I will welcome all the business. We are the city where we welcome all the business, small, big, in between, because we're having a meeting once. I like a Casa de Park weekend, I call no more small business. The man is getting like, right? Bigger and bigger every day. Like Vonda right here, too. Come on. Go, you know. So the good thing is their food is good. And please, you can eat as much as you can because you're not going to get fat. I'm a proof of that, right? I'm 63, looking good, and still eating all that food, right?
Amen.
Yeah. Yes. So does not mean yes the Spanish, Portuguese, African, American food is about the quality, but it's about service. And that's what we want in the city in Newark. That's what the administration, Mayor Rasbaraka administration, I have my colleague here, Victoria. And we wanted to continue it. And like Carlos said, it's not just stay there. We wanted to increase. We wanted to put out there in the world. My job is I'm the deputy mayor for international relations. And all the cities, we have sister cities and the places and the people coming from all over the world. And the diaspora here, they constantly talk about it, the food and diversity, because we are city melting pot. So that we continue this work. Português, não, tem muita gente aqui que não fala inglês. Obrigada por vir. As empresas pequenas, as pequenas empresas, nós não queremos só pequenas, queremos grandes, as médias. A comida culinária aqui no Newark é uma culinária muito boa porque tem uma diversidade. A brasileira, a portuguesa, a equatoriana, a africana, em todas as diversidades. Então, nós vamos continuar, não só fazer essa qualidade, mas incrementar um pouco mais e pôr no mapa, já que nós estamos aí com toda essa diversidade de diáspora, de todas essas nacionalidades, vamos pôr a nossa culinária, os nossos negócios no mundo, no mapa. Muito obrigado por vir e parabéns. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
For the non-Portuguese speakers, our deputy mayor was focusing on the importance of diversity and how magic our neighborhood truly is, because it's actually a fusion where we all meet in Newark and we all give our honorable contribution and make this wonderful city that it is. So you've seen the campaign that we have running on News 12, where I said Newark is one of the best food destinations in the country, but how many people truly know that? So the purpose of this panel is, as you saw, we're amongst friends, we're amongst family. It doesn't have to be the most formal tone, yet it's a very serious conversation. But the goal is to have our ideas and creativity flow so we could also, all of us together, share our experiences and understand who's who. The purpose is also we're here to network, see what type of resources we have from some of these panelists. Thank you all for coming, for making yourselves available today. What a wonderful panel, everybody. As I was saying, this conversation, this discussion is also being streamed live on Facebook, PLUSABLE PR, and also on YouTube at @PLUSABLE_PR. So if you have friends, people who like to be present but they can't, so you just have to kindly share and make them bring them in, bring everybody in. Small Business Week has been celebrated for over 6 years in the U.S. And during this special celebration, we honor the role of small businesses such as yours. And we have a great example of someone who's hosting us, the Lestone family. Let's meet our panelists. Are you ready? Yeah. Angel Lestone, CEO and founder of Casa de Paco and Standard Cafe. Vanda McPherson, CEO of Vanda's Kitchen Catering and Events. Louis Nobre, Solmar Restaurant Vice President, keeping the legacy alive. Kala Mubarak from Buena Braza unfortunately couldn't be present, but he sent love and he's not feeling good. Next time. From Albania with Love, Kreshnik Berisha, founder of managing partner of Sihana Hospitality Group. Emily Mans, Invest Newark, Chief Business Development Officer. Victoria Walker, Director of Arts and Education District. Nancy B. Painter, publisher and founder of Edible New Jersey. Hank Zona, event planner, writer, consultant, the man behind The Grapes Unwrapped. I would also have to thank our sponsors before we start the conversation. And Vince Vaglivo. Represent the man behind the moving force, which is iBid. I would also like to thank our sponsors before we start this conversation. Again, institutional support, City of Newark. Michael Silva, Deputy Mayor, is here with us. iBid, Casa de Paco, MAP, Invest, Newark, Ideal Fish Market, and Keller Williams, Midtown Realty. They're here with us. Thank you so much. And Americo Ciabra Wines as well. So, as Giada De Laurentiis, an Italian-American chef, said, food brings people together on many different levels. It's nourishment of the soul and body. It's truly love. And the result of a beautiful love story, it's Angel Lestone.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much.
And he's considered by many, and I agree, the best paella in the state of New Jersey. And he's here, but he didn't forget, and he brought Galicia and the true Spanish flavors with him. It's been a very successful story. We salute you for that. These years and this journey, you've encountered some obstacles as well. So I would like to sum it up and understand, so we could all understand a little bit of your experience and areas that you think that you need, some sort of extra support here or more access to some more information. And let's try, again, to find solutions together.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you for the introduction. I don't know if we're the best paella in New Jersey, but definitely the best paella on Warwick Street. I guarantee you that. But yeah, so it's been a slow, I would say a slow recovery. COVID affected us all very much. Probably the worst hit that the restaurant industry has ever taken. I mean, I can't think of anything else. But coming back from that, there's been assistance, there's been, a lot of programs, a lot of state assistance, government assistance, etc. But it seems like now that it's hard to find a trend. It's hard to get used to something. The only thing I can think of is, finding ways to bring more attention to the city, bring more people from the outside to come and visit Newark, because there is an incredible culinary scene in Newark. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of restaurants that have been around for a lot of years, pumping out great work, great food, amazing service. We got Solmar over here, who's a staple in, not only Newark, but New Jersey, and other restaurants as well. New restaurants that are coming up. Our friends over here, it's Sihana and Five Corners. A lot of new talent, a lot of new great things happening, and I feel like there should be more exposure, more people should know. I think of other restaurant scenes like, let's say, Jersey City or Hoboken, that I see a lot of movement. And not to say anything bad about the other restaurant scenes, but I think Newark honestly has more talent, more, better restaurants and food. And I think that we just have to make a joint effort to let people know that, and have more people from outside of Newark come to Newark, and have people that live in Newark stay in Newark and come to our restaurants in Newark and spend in Newark. So I think that takes, all the businesses getting together, and it's not, there's always a bad kind of, I guess, misconception of, a lot of restaurateurs think, oh, it's competition. Competition is good. Competition brings business for everybody. We want competition. We want more restaurants. We want more people come. They'll visit. If they don't visit us today, they'll visit us next time. So that's what I think. We need more solidarity between all the restaurant owners, and then more help from the city in terms of putting us out there, putting our names out there, putting the great things that we offer, and getting more traffic and well, not more traffic. I meant foot traffic. We got enough traffic. Foot traffic.
You should be traumatized by now.
But yeah, I mean, it's Newark. I can't say enough good things about Newark and what they've done for small businesses. But I mean, there's always more, right? There's always more that can be done. So, and that's all. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So the East Ward is definitely known for a great tradition of Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese food. But Newark is known and famous for bringing even more cultures together. And a great contribution also has been given by the African American community. I have pretty iconic lady and an ambassador of that movement from Newark to the world, Vanda. We've been exposed to all kinds of events with celebrities. We've worked actually last year at a Heart Radio in New York, NFL, you name it, you've done it. So based on your experience, what would you like to see, or what do you think the next step should be for this whole movement in Newark?
Definitely, I think that the advertisement of some of the greatest restaurants here needs to be upfront and personal. And the reason I say that is that there's so many wonderful young people coming into the food network of Newark. We have to get behind them, and we have to promote them, and we have to not be offended that new restaurants are coming, because that's what we want. We want to have an environment not only festivity-wise, and I think we need to do a lot more of that. Food festivals in the city of Newark could be absolutely amazing, especially in the summertime, and some of the things that we have down at the Prudential Center, right in front of that. That is what it's made of, I think. And then the other thing is that we have to support, as far as I'm concerned, establishments that have been in place for, say, 50 years. They don't die. People know who they are, and we have to just, call their name. When people ask questions like this, calling another restaurant's name is extremely important. You know what I mean? You never can have too much food in a city of this magnitude. And so when people mention my restaurant, I'm excited about that. What I'm more excited about is my catering opportunities from people just mentioning my restaurant. You understand? So when I think of all of the people here, we just need to get, bigger and more promotional, because Newark is coming back in a big way. I mean, if you look at just the development and the number of people that have come to Newark from New York, we need to feed these people. We need to feed.
They don't have what we have.
They they don't. And now we also, I think that the restaurants that are doing, say, late night, Swahili Village, I literally love them. And the reason I do is because they're the only restaurant that stays open to 3. Is safety never an issue, and they're winning. And that's a win for all of us. It has to be a nightlife here. Back in the day, in the 70s, 80s,
Zanzibar.
my father told me this. So what I'm saying is that they used to be open later. We've really cleaned up this neighborhood and this city. We should be proud of it, and we definitely need to have longer hours and longer support because the money is here and people want to come out and socialize. No one wants to sit up in a brand new apartment. I'm saying that because that's a lot that's happening here where people don't meet other people. We have to set that up so we move forward in that way so we all can win. That's how I feel about it.
Thank you for sharing. That's definitely an interesting topic, the idea of food festivals. And we have here a great example of how successful food festivals can be. Luigi Nobre and Solmar Seafood Festival, amongst other initiatives with Portugal Day. So if you could share some of that good practice and some also obstacles and obviously some things you would like to see also along the way that could be done, better.
Well, the Seafood Festival came out of an idea of how do we have these many months between January and April with no major holidays. So we have to create an idea for people to come out. Because I think that's a trick. If you can get people to come out for whatever the reason is, they'll come and they'll spend. If you can't get them, if you don't give them a reason to come out, especially now, they're not going to come out. And I think the major obstacle originally was that a lot of local people our first time that we did it, we didn't get a lot of local support, but we got a huge support from the tri-state area, which was unbelievable. And we did it the second time was the other way around. All the locals wanted to come by and see and check this out, see what goes on. And the concept, it's very simple. You create a menu for 3 days of shellfish, mostly imported from Portugal, and everybody picks their own. So if somebody wants to spend $20, they can spend 20. They want to spend 500, they can spend 500. So to let everybody with different budgets come in and participate. And we've had people that came in and just did, okay, I just want an appetizer and a beer. I'm like, that's great. You came. But I think in general, in the city, there should be, on a regular basis, I'm not saying just Solmar, all the restaurants should have a different activity on a regular basis. So every week there's a reason for people to come down here. Because the hardest part is to get people down here. Once they're down here, they'll come in, they'll spend, they'll have a good time. And I think more and more, it's like I gave a prime example the other day. When Restaurant Week started, I was not a believer. I can say that open. And then second year, we participated a little bit. And then in third year, we says, oh no, you know what? We're going to go full blown out campaign with Restaurant Week. And I can say Restaurant Week was a success for us. But you have to, I think all of this comes down to one thing. The city can help, but you have to have also initiative as a restaurateur to create ideas to get people here. And if the city does Restaurant Week, you know what? In your budget, you should put some money there to personally advertise. Forget what the city does. You still do your own to get people in. I mean, we did just Restaurant Week covers. I mean, we did 250 covers. I would never dream that we would do that. People that came down just because of Restaurant Week. But as I was not a believer, I think a lot of people got to start believing on these initiatives to make it better, to get people on the streets, and have, even though traffic stinks in Fridays afternoons, but you should have traffic jams for people trying to get to restaurants on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. That's a city. To get into a parking lot, you're going to have to go maybe around the block or have to look for parking. But that's the idea. And we're getting there. But I think a push from not just the city, even from the media from the outside to come in and say, okay, come on in. Let's just show us what we got. And they can spread out the word. Our average customer travels 20, 30 minutes to get to our restaurant. There's people who travel an hour and a half to come and have a good meal. So our mission as restaurateurs, or my mission at Solmar is, they better leave happy. I don't care what we have to do. The food has to be good, the drinks have to be good, and the investment on staff, it is big. Some people says, oh, well, everything. You don't invest on good staff, and you don't make sure that they're doing the right job, it'll never get us where we need to be at.
Great. Fonda, you would like to do that, Fonda?
Make a small point. We have so many people come into the Prudential Center. It would be wonderful if we all could just maybe partner with the city of Newark, and we also bring and place us all out there where we can actually feed them one time before they go to an event and show them what we're working with. I think that is so important because that can change the game. You have thousands and thousands of people that eat on one street in the city of Newark, right in front of the Prudential Center, but yet and still they don't know about the other restaurants. If we even put up some free money from our businesses and also ask for some support from the city to be able to do a festival so that when they're here, they know that we're here. That's important.
That's a great idea. Vonda, you also mentioned, and you touched a very interesting subject of a younger generation being interested in Newark. Also, Louise, you also touched a very interesting topic of how to amplify this voice. With us, we also have Kreshnik Berisha, and I look at you and I still think that you still fall in this younger-ish generation of entrepreneurs that, based on your European global background, you're risking and believing that Newark, deserves a loungy-looking, cool, hip place like Five Corners. Sihana is also pretty hip and artsy. Share a little bit of your experiences and also the source of your courage and motivation.
Well, thank you. I don't know about all the young stuff, but definitely young in business in Newark. So I'm Kreshnik. I'm one half of the Sihana group. The other half is the gentleman in the green jacket.
David.
We could have we could have used some hair in the panel here, David. But so we're a group that started out during the pandemic. So naturally, all our challenges are pandemic related. We're a pandemic baby that kind of survived, thrived during the pandemic, and we're able to create another concept, which is called Five Corners Restaurant. It's at the historic intersection of Five Corners and the Ironbound. And one of the reasons why Five Corners exists is because of the help, represented by Emily Mans here in the panel. So we're very thankful for that, and the city of Newark. So our concept, our idea of creating a space in Newark started out with having a cafe that could be a place where it could represent all the demographics, and it had a social impact component attached to it. Sihana currently is the only secondhand bookshop in Newark, so we work closely with the Newark Museum to attain the books and be able to sell them at a fraction of the cost. We sell ethically sourced coffee from Colombia, Brazil, Ecuador, and Mexico. These are countries that have a heavy population here in the Ironbound, so we have that connection with the community. On top of that, we're very active together with Angel in the Working Kitchens program, financed by Audible and the EDA. It was a program that really had a positive impact on us because it was able to create this resilience that was necessary to go through the pandemic. And at the same time, we were able to feed homeless shelters, places of faith, senior centers. This was a great program because it also gave us an opportunity to see firsthand some of that impact that was happening during the pandemic. I mean, we would hear about it in the news, but myself and David, we visited these places and saw what kind of dire circumstances that people were in. So our business is not just an enterprise, but it's also, has this idea of maximizing social impact. So naturally, everything that we try to do aims to have this component. In addition to this, we have at the center of our belief that the city ought to be the driving narrative of what we do, because if we're going to operate in a community, we have to uplift that community. We do it through art in the cafe. Anyone who's ever visited the cafe has seen the Paramount Newark logo. It's seen the Newark is for Artists that is operated by one of our partners, Gabriel. And our overall objective is to have this sort of like collective heroism that is necessary to be resilient during, times of, great challenges, but at the same time, to be able to portray that it is possible to do something that's different in places that perhaps everyone thinks is not possible. So that was one of our main goals in doing this. And the way we would like to operate in the future is by sort of maximizing on that relationship that we have with the city, because the city and the EDA are agencies that smaller actors, smaller business people can tap into when they're trying to enter the field. It's a little different when you're consolidated and stabilized, but when you're starting out, it makes a great difference when you have the support of institutions. As small business owners, at one point, we all know that, in our case, for example, at one point we had only 3 employees. Two of them were us. So we had 1 employee. And it takes great support for businesses to thrive. And we were able to connect with these organizations and be able to, kind of ride the storm of the pandemic.
Thank you for sharing. So with all this diverse offer, Hank, you are a food critic, a wine aficionado, a great writer. It must be hard where do you find the time to actually try all of these great, amazing, iconic examples of diverse food here in the Ironbound, and what goes behind your intentions, or to make it to one of your publications? What would you expect from these restaurant owners as well?
I'm not really a critic. I don't like to criticize.
You like to appreciate,
because everyone thinks they're a food critic these days. Anyone who's got an online account is out there criticizing. I want to tell stories, and Newark is full of stories. And what I look for, people who put out good products, who are good people, and are a good story. And this is a room of good stories. Angel and I have been telling a good story, collaborating with events for a number of years. So I started running events. I run events, wine-themed events. Angel and I have done a number of events here, and that's morphed into writing. I principally write for Edible Jersey. And by the way, I don't work in Newark. I don't live in Newark, so I kind of I feel honored to be here. But I also think that as a somewhat of an outsider. I live all the way over Maplewood, the western edges of all the way over. Yes, I got on Route 78 and McCarter Highway to get here. So I deserve applause for that. No, I don't. I deserve applause for that. I write for Apple Jersey with Nancy and Ray Painter. I write for, as a freelancer, I write for, I just did a piece for Eater, a co-written piece on the Ironbound.
Great job.
I write for Jersey's Best, which is a subsidiary of the Ledger. And in all those cases, I want to tell your stories because that's what attracts people. You don't want criticism, but you want to be good. You know, that saying that rising tide lifts all boats. I think the tide's rising. That's the feeling I get as an outsider who spends a good amount of time here, who's done events with a number of different organizations in the community and a number of different venues. And the tide is rising, but it's important to make sure all the boats aren't leaky. And you had said before that Newark is a melting pot. I don't think of it as a melting pot. I think of it more as like and don't steal this line because Ray and Nancy and I are going to be using it. Please don't tell. I think of it as a patchwork quilt. It's a quilt. It's a quilt of all different really cool patches next to each other might not appear to work well together, but when you look at the full quilt, it's pretty beautiful. And you know, the story of Newark is history, and it's a history, and that's left that. I think the only restaurant that's not here from the Immigrant Pass is probably a Dutch restaurant, right? There's no Dutch restaurants in Newark, but every group that's come through the city is still represented here in some form, and I think that's important. And that should be articulated out to the rest of the world.
So more than authentic flavors, what we're actually tasting are stories of humans that found in Newark, obviously, hope to prosper and flourish, like a cherry blossom, also very famous in Newark. Nancy, you, as the publisher and founder of Edible Jersey, you come from a background of corporate and marketing, and now that passion for marketing and in a way also telling these stories resulted in Edible Jersey. So based on your extensive experience, we've been touching the topic of how to amplify these messages and how to amplify these stories. Are there any, good practices that you would like to suggest? Any pointers based on your experience and your interaction with this great display of great food in Newark?
Right. One thing I'd like to mention first is thank you to everyone who organized this event. There's such a great vibe in this room and good energy, and that just, to me, food people are always the best people. And maybe, when you have food people and entrepreneurs, one and the same, it doesn't get any better than that. So thank you all for coming too. So Ray and I started, we're small business owners ourselves because we started Edible Jersey 18 years ago, which is hard to believe. And in my role with Edible Jersey, I've had the honor to, we cover the entire state. So I've spent a lot of time in a lot of the, food towns all over New Jersey. And I've always been, I think I mentioned this to Isabel and Carlos too when I spoke to them, I've always been so frustrated at the number of people I've met who love food, who are passionate about food, and have never been into Newark. And it's almost inconceivable to me. So, and over the years, we've tried to cover the city. We did a great full issue back late 2018, and it went over so well, But basically, what I think people need to know where to go. People want to know, if they've never been into the city before, they want to know where to go. Just think of yourself. If you're going to Miami next week, or you're going to be this summer, take a trip to Madrid, you're going to ask, a friend who's been there or someone who lives there, hey, where should we eat? That's one of the first questions everybody wants to know. So almost everybody in this room has to play a role in telling people where you should eat. So, because people want to feel comfortable. They don't want to take a chance. They don't, on going to a restaurant that's not good. They're not sure how the transportation works or the system, and so we do that through Edible Jersey, through stories about Vonda or Blueberry Cafe and Casa de Paco. We tell that in our magazine, but there's many other ways. Like, I think the restaurant week that I think the restaurant week was amazing last year, because that gives people a reason to kind of come in, let me put my toe in the water. I see some restaurants here that look pretty good, and I would encourage you to just keep building up that restaurant week and push it out, put it on all of your social media, make sure there's a map so people know where to go. So the restaurant weeks and also food tours, we're a big believer in food tours. Have You Met Newark does a wonderful batch of food tours in connection with Newark Happening. And again, you're taking, everybody wants to feel like they have a food savvy friend who's going to take them by the hand and show them a couple good places to eat. And they'll come back there, they'll bring their friends, they'll get comfortable, they'll want to learn more, they'll want to try other spots. So I would just keep that in mind, like tell people where they should go to eat in all different ways. And there's such a good, there's the uniqueness here is the flavor and the energy and the vibrance, but the main thing is sharing the information so that people, if you haven't been there before, will give Newark a chance. I thought Vonda made a great point before too. You have all these new people moving here and coming in here. I think you have to really look at ways to make people feel comfortable. How do they connect? If I'm far from it, but if I'm in my late 20s and 30s and just moved to Newark, hey, like, where do we go out on a Friday night? So think of some ways to convey that. So the other thing too, in thinking about how do you bring people in, people come into Newark, as you know better than I, for various reasons. They're coming in for the arts, the NJ PAC, Newark Museum. They're coming to the hospitals. They're coming to the hospitals for different services, and they're coming to graduations and classes at Rutgers, NJIT. Even there, like in the Newark, and maybe they have it, but the Newark Museum, like, there should be just a card that can be given away. Like, hey, what restaurants, we just finished up seeing that great exhibit. Where should we go eat? So, restaurants banding together to make something simple like that you can leave just at the visitor's desk or at the concierge desk at the hospital. I think it would help. And I very much agree with what Angel said earlier. I think as small business owners ourselves, right, it is not easy. And there is a natural tendency to feel that your dollar that your neighbor just got from someone is a dollar that you lost. But it's not that at all. Like, try to work together, certain offers, team up on offers. Somebody, comes into one restaurant tonight and they also get a coupon for a smoothie at the restaurant down the street. I've seen, very different town, but I've seen Princeton do that quite well, where those businesses really work together. And as someone said before, the rising tide lifts all boats. So I think there's a lot of ways to do it, but definitely cooperate, because tonight they'll come to your restaurant, tomorrow night they'll come to your restaurant, and next month they'll bring their sister and her family back to his restaurant. So anyway, that's just some, loose ideas I've had in thinking about this, because Newark is so deserving to be the most popular food destination in the state. It is the food destination. So, and I think this is really an important conversation, because this is the room that can make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you once again for being here with us. You touch a very interesting topic. We do have a great, cool vibe in this place today. Casa de Paco, so cool looking, so beautiful, so diverse, so Newark. We should all be very proud of that. And again, thank you for joining our panel. Very, very, very important. I'm very flattered. Thank you so much. Speaking of collective effort, cool vibes, I also must recognize the support that we've been receiving also as PLUSABLE, as members of this ward by our East Ward Councilman, Michael Silva, big champion of the East Ward, always very passionate about the traditions and food. It's a great day for the East Ward. It's a great day for Newark as well.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I'm late, but one of the great things about this community is the culture. I just left a meeting with the Ecuadorian community about their festival, August 10th and 11th. Portugal Day is upon us. 240,000, 300,000 people will be in attendance that weekend, talking about the great restaurants. I was born and raised here. I've been here 50 plus years, and what I may be biased, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Ironbound sells itself. It's got a great history. I don't care what anybody says. When I stood on top of the bridge of the connection that's coming, I said that this bridge will not only connect all Newarkers, it'll connect all people and residents from the state of New Jersey to the best restaurants in the state. Next morning, I had phone calls from the mayor of Montclair. Next morning, I had phone calls from mayor of Hoboken. Next morning, I had phone calls from the mayor of Red Bank and Asbury Park. And I stood by my statement, and I'll still stand by what I said. We have the best restaurants in the state of New Jersey, bar none. It's not even close. What you could find here, you can't find anywhere else. As the councilman of the East Ward, you know, and a Newark police officer for 28 years, served this community. I'm so humbled to have this job here and to work closely with Louis and Vince from the IBID and all these gentlemen here who own a business here and Invest Newark. I sit on the board, and just being part of something that's so inspiring and watching Newark grow from where it's come from. You know, the best days are ahead of us. People don't realize that. I sit with so many people on a weekly basis, investors that just want a piece of the Ironbound, want a piece of the East Ward. Unfortunately, not too much is available, but they want a piece of it. And guess what? They're willing to pay for it because they realize the potential that's here. And they realize what this city's going to become. And I'm just glad and honored. And working with Carlos, we're going to have a Taste of the City May 19th next month. This month already, it's May 1st. On Sunday, we're going to have a Taste of the City. The mayor and I, partnering, will be closing down Ferry Street, all the restaurants on Ferry Street. We did it 2 years ago on three-day weekends, and it was tremendously successful. Beautiful Sundays. We did it. We had the street closed on Ferry from 12 noon to 9 p.m. at the time, 8 p.m., and it was tremendous. We had so many out-of-towners come, and that's what we're trying to achieve here, right? We're trying to achieve something that's been going on in Princeton or in Montclair or in Hoboken for years, and why not Newark, New Jersey? Why not the East Ward? Why not the Ironbound? We could do it here. You know, we can have those things that those other so-called, you know, high up, you know, yuppie living people have in their, you know, in their communities. We can have it here in Newark, New Jersey, and it will happen here. I don't know how long I'll be around, but one thing I can tell you is working with these amazing people that are invested in this community. Their heart is here. They live here, most of them. They have something at stake here. This is how they make their living. Their livelihood is here. And it's important that we work together collectively with everybody in this room to make sure that East Ward, the Ironbound, Newark, New Jersey is on the map. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Councilman. We talked about amplifying the message. We talked about being cool. We talked about yuppie living. Victoria Walker, you're the Director of Arts and Education District. You come from a background of music, management, connecting arts with community impact. Why don't you share a little bit of what can, you know, these restaurant and these attendees expect from your department, and you know, share your amazing story.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for curating this opportunity together. I definitely want to share some information about the Arts and Education District. In 2022, Honorable Mayor Rajat Baraka launched the Arts and Education District, which basically promotes and highlights all the arts, educational, and cultural institutions in the downtown area, as well as the businesses, our amazing parks, our 5 downtown parks. And the boundaries consist of Broad Street South Station all the way to Lincoln Park, and it comes down on Ferry Street. As of recently, we actually just extended, and we're going to go towards Vermella Broad Street because Newark Art is actually going to be there in their gallery space. So even though it doesn't come all the way down here, we want to make sure that we actually promote the things that are not just going on in the district, but we want to mirror that same image in the wards. And one of the biggest things is we want to drive traffic from our wards to the downtown community as well. So we're working on things, improvement like shuttle services that we want to offer for the districts to bring residents downtown, because we want people to come inside and enjoy all the great things that we have going on. We want the people that live here to also take part in those opportunities. So many people that's been living here for years, like myself, I've been here for 35, almost 36 years. And until I started working for the city, some things I didn't even know about. Because a lot of times, like we said, so many people said over and over, it's the exposure. So the mayor knows that we have these great things. He's excited about these great things. How do we amplify the voices of our community, of our business owners, of our stakeholders? And how can we collaborate? I work a lot with Emily and Invest Newark. How can we do some cross-promotion and some cross-marketing opportunities to help leverage all the great things we have going on? We have big events that come to Prudential. Where do we go after we leave Prudential? You know, best restaurant to go to, what bars are open late, where does information live at? So we created a website that actually houses all this information. It's called NewarkArtsandEducationDistrict.com. I've actually given some information out on the seats. Please visit the website. We want to make this website bigger and better. We don't only want it to live in the district, we want other wards to actually mirror this as well. So we want the SIDS and the BIDs to also mirror, where we can have this information live on our site that can lead people to, you know, the information that's in the wards and make sure that we share it. So we can go on there, we can see the calendar of events that we have. We try to keep it as up to date as possible. If an event is not on there or a business is not on there, you can select a button or submit a business as well, and we will add it to our calendar of events. But we want to make sure that Newark is a place where people live, work, shop, eat, you know, get an education, play, and we have all those great things here. So the district is definitely one place, but we also want to make sure that we shed light on all the great things that we have to offer. So driving traffic to the district and also throughout the wards.
Yes, we discussed some suggestions as far as the involvement and the role of the city as far as amplifying these messages. So it's also fair for the city to ask, what would you expect from the restaurants and business owners as well to make this communication be a two-way communication and make it, you know, more efficient? Is how can they get in touch with you proactively? Share that a lot of these events are going on, you know, like for instance, the regional festivals, or even here in the events that Hangsona and Angel have as well.
Right, well, you definitely can visit the website. Like I said, if you go to the website, you can click submit an event, submit a business. I am in City Hall, room 407. Work a lot. You can always find me there. You can email us Newark Arts and Education at ci.newark.nj.us. But it's much easier to go to the website, send an email that way. We also make sure we're sharing the awareness of all the great things that are going on. There's so much going on in our city. We just want to make sure that we actually amplify those voices and bring all the attention and hone on it. So if you have any questions, I'll be around. We're offering some seamless opportunities. We know events are going to happen. We know we want to close. We want to make that as seamless as possible for the people that are in the district and also for our business owners, so we can keep those things going, like the festivals, because we know those things drive foot traffic to the of our economic development as a whole.
Very good. Speaking of amplifying the message, we have also Vince Baglivo from IBID. He's a big supporter and champion of the East Ward Business Improvement District, with a background from public relations, storytelling, marketing, strategy. What do you think that is still yet to be done, or what can we do collectively to accelerate and truly achieve what our councilman so passionately is defending as Newark as the best destination? And also Nancy concurs, putting Newark truly on the map. How can we collectively do it?
Well, first, thanks to PLUSABLE for putting this event together. It takes a lot to make this kind of thing happen, bring everybody in one room to share ideas. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
What I would say is that I've been working in Newark for 40 years. And I can tell you since the pandemic, one thing that is definitely a big change is the collective effort, a collaboration that maybe wasn't as prominent before that. You know, when times were tough, people realized how to work together to get to a better place and grow. And I think that's happened. It's the support of GNCVB. Ricardo Salazar is here, our destination marketing organization. I'm proud to be a board member there. Newark happening. They're amplifying our city. The support of our councilman, mentioned the event he's doing, partnering this councilman, and it's beneficial to the East Ward, to the Ironbound, and to the city of Newark. Our deputy mayor, Ligia de Freitas, who I will say is going to be honored at this year's Portugal Festival as one of the year. Rich, so we couldn't do this alone. This collaboration is making better things possible for the city. You know, I would say to people, my concept of marketing in some ways is very simple when it comes to restaurants and food. And that is that Newark is not only the cultural capital of New Jersey, it's also the arts and entertainment capital of the state of New Jersey by far. Now, I'm a soccer fan, okay? There are ballet fans, classical music fans, house music fans. People have all kinds of Devils hockey. The one thing everybody has in common, they want to go someplace good to eat and have some good drinks as part of their experience. We collaborate. We got to make that happen, and we work closely with the different facilities downtown, Prudential Center, and JPAC. That's important. That's a natural connection. I've worked in districts across the state of New Jersey, and I could say if the food isn't good, your district is going to have a lot of trouble getting traction and inviting people in here, which is why guys like Lewis here and Kreshnik and Angel make my job easy, because you've got great restaurants and a great atmosphere and a great vibe. People want to be part of that. Part of my role at this point in time is that, you know, people in this area have a lot of choices about where they can go to eat and find recreation and entertainment. And, you know, Newark, as much as things have changed and improved, is still a reputation-challenged city, okay? People are still coming in to see a show at the Prudential Center because they want to see a particular artist. That's where they're going to perform. They got to come to Newark, whether they want to or not, all right? So we've got to get past that where people come to an event and say, okay, I'm out. I'm going to go eat in Montclair. I'm going to go to Millburn. I'm going to go to Jersey City. Why? If you're going to have a Newark experience, have a Newark experience. Make it a seamless situation for people. But was mentioned earlier, but some people need direction, where to go, what to do. And I think that's been happening. We appreciate Edible Jersey. GNCVB and the Ironbound bid advertise an Edible Jersey all the time. Why? Because it's reaching the people we want to reach, okay? Also to see new things. I have a son who lives in Brooklyn, a son who lives on the Upper West Side. People coming into this city looking for new opportunities for their personal growth, a place to live, more exciting opportunities for business growth here. They have expectations. And, you know, the Ironbound has made its reputation a lot on Portuguese restaurants, Spanish restaurants, Brazilian restaurants, but we've got much more than that. It's an immigrant neighborhood, always has been. To have Five Corners Italian food again, I'm a half Italian guy, makes me happy, okay? People have been around a long time. There were restaurants like Assaggini di Roma. I don't know if anybody remembers that, okay? That was a scene, okay? Yeah, that's just was part of it. The Italians had a role here, so it's great to have that as well. And people are looking for that. Is it okay if I spill the beans on Standard Cafe, brick oven pizza coming here? You haven't been to Standard Cafe yet to have a sandwich of food down there? Your renovations going down there are crazy. But I told Angel I wanted to kiss him when he told me he's going to have a brick oven and have brick oven pizza. We don't have brick oven pizza in the Ironbound. I asked Angel and I said, you have any thoughts about a Korean restaurant? Okay? Because why not? Vonda, she knows the invitation is to come on down to this neighborhood too. But I would say this, it's important for the whole city to have restaurants downtown doing well, have restaurants and some of the best African restaurants, Nigerian, Ghanaian restaurants in the West Ward. People say, Vince, you run a district with over 200 restaurants. Why would you want people to know about restaurants in other parts of the city? Why? Because that reinforces that Newark is place to come when you want good food. I don't care what kind of food it is, you're going to find it in Newark, and there is history behind that here. So it is a collaborative effort. It's making this the scene for where you're going to go out to eat, where people want to come, and it's happening. Part of my responsibility as well, and Councilman and I are partners in this, we have to make those people coming from other places feel safe and welcome, clean, safe, welcome. Those are the three words that dominate everything we do. Because if people don't have that kind of feeling, they're going to find other places to go. So it's important that we emphasize that as well about events and things that go on here. So all I can say is I think the future is so bright for Newark, for the Ironbound, and I'm very, very feel privileged to be here and be part of it this time and contribute to this future.
Would you like to add to that, Wanda?
I just have to say this. I think it's a great idea. Vonda's Kitchen has been extremely successful for two reasons. One is that we have parking, okay? And let's just talk about that because that's a major thing. People come off 78. I have 5 churches and I have 5 schools. People always ask me, Vaughn, why don't you come down? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm staying right there in that hood, right? I'm going to have a vibe. The food captures people. I get that. But downtown, I think the biggest hiccup is not having some form of park and eat. Park and eat is something where we take, when people come into the Prudential Center, they park, they pay for it. Nothing against them. We need them. But the problem is that they walk to, the Prudential Center, but they don't come to the restaurants except that one street. And we promote that, and I get that. But if we had something that said park and eat, and then have close down the streets after 6, and let people come to people's restaurants, because everything is such a hectic situation when it comes to parking. Right? We have to give a little to take a little, right?
True.
And if we want a restaurant environment, we have to open the block, the street, close it off, shut it off after 6 to 10. Let people come down on a Wednesday, and maybe Broad Street or Halsey Street, we just shut it down where they can park, or somewhere they can park, walk over, and be able to eat. We have to do that because every other city does that. If you go into Montclair, they allow you to go into Montclair, go to the Jazz Festival, get something to eat, and they give you parking. They let you double up. They let you triple up. Newark is the only city I know that Broad Street, I get it, it's a whole street, but maybe Halsey Street has parking on it. Maybe the next street over. So we can shut it down. And I think that's important because it's only going to help. It only helps. And and I get it. Like ShopRite moving in, right, to my area has doubled my restaurant. When ShopRite came, oh, I heard about this place, Vonda's Kitchen. They come. They can park. And I close at 7 o'clock. And still, I close at 7. Who in their right mind will close at 7? Because I get them lunch, morning, and midday before 6. You know what I mean? Because my neighborhood changes. But your neighborhood doesn't change. You have police everywhere. We need to have a park and eat.
Thank you. Parking seems to be a hot topic. And Warwick here is, he struggles. And also Standard, not the easiest location. But we're going strong. So one day I was talking to Vince about Brooklyn and his son living in Brooklyn. And one of my questions was, if Newark has such a great tradition of hip hop, it's such a great tradition of soulful house music, why do people always talk about Chicago as house music capital, or Detroit as techno capital, why not soulful house music here in Newark? We have a great tradition, great festivals. So, and then Vaughn also touched the topic of maybe we lack a nightlife scene. Remember the Zanzibar years? I'm pretty sure your father told you about that too, right? I know. I hear you. I wish I was around then. I wasn't, unfortunately. I was in Portugal still. But speaking of destination, nightlife, being truly hip, yuppie lifestyle, hipster, I would like to ask you, Emily.
I said, who's that?
As someone who very proudly asks a lot of people if have they met Newark, I would like to hear two things. Their first, their before and after reaction. I'm pretty sure you have some really cool stories from those tours that you could also share the experience. And also, answer some of these suggestions as far as what can these restaurant owners and business owners also expect, and how can they truly interact and benefit from Invest Newark as well.
Sure, thank you. So I definitely want to talk about the resources at Invest Newark, but to start and answer your first question, so before becoming Chief Business Development Officer and Director of Marketing at Invest Newark for 11 years, I've been co-founder and CEO of something called Have You Met Newark Tours, which is a tour operator here in the city. Certainly has helped and infuses my current work. I've literally taken tours to every restaurant owner on this panel over these past 11 years, worked with the IBID, worked with GNCVB, and my theory was I moved to Newark about 11, 12 years ago, didn't know much, and I was taken on a tour by Richard Camerari and actually Dr. Robert Curvin. And that was an incredible way to know where to go, what to do, learn the history. It was, immersive. You're there learning from people and speakers. And so my partner and I, Antonio, we started the tour company, and we've done food tours. We've taken, thousands and thousands and thousands. Antonio runs the company now because I'm very busy during the day with Invest Newark. But one of the key groups we were focused on was employees of the downtown businesses. So we do tours for Audible, Mars Wrigley, Prudential. These folks are in their buildings not knowing what's just outside, literally a stone's throw away. You can mention, and so and they love it, and they're so much happier, and their whole lives are better once they take a tour because now they know where to go and to get a cup of coffee. And like you said, everyone wants to be the cool person who knows where to eat or go out for drinks after work. So, so that experience, I think, working hand in hand with restaurant owners, being a business owner myself, certainly infuses my work at Invest Newark. Invest Newark, we are the Economic Development Corporation for the city of Newark. We work really closely with the city. Like Victoria said, we're like talking every day, all the time, about different initiatives. And we have resources, including financial resources that, Kreshnik mentioned. We do have loan programs. We have a grant program that we just ran. Equal Space was a recipient, which is great and very exciting. And we also work with partners. So we work really closely with the NJDA, for instance. If you're a business and you've opened in the last 2 years and you haven't applied for the Small Business Lease Grant or the Improvement Grant, you need to. It's going to go through the year, but I know some of the panelists here have used it, but it pays, you can get up to $50,000 back of your renovations if you've renovated a space. There are real programs at the state level and local level to help you in your business. So you need to reach out to us. We can serve at Invest Newark as that kind of point where we can direct you in the right direction, right? That first entry point, and then once you're in our network, we support you. I also want to mention is educational programs. I want to shout Shanice Fish here in the front row. Shanice is opening a Caribbean market. Yep, very exciting. Right downtown. Yep, right in the downtown area. We're really excited. And she was a Language of Capital program participant, which is one of our virtual programs where you can learn, the basics of business. And beyond that, it's just a great network. Newark is such an amazing city, a lot of different resources, a lot of different business owners. Once you become part of, I say, like the Invest Newark network and through one of our classes, now you're like on our list, right? Here's an opportunity, here's an opportunity, here's a networking opportunity. That's what we try to do. So I wanted to mention that if you're a bigger business owner of $100,000 in revenues or more, which you will be after you open, you can participate in our Executive Business Accelerator, which is a program a lot of restaurant owners have participated in. And the whole purpose of that is to help restaurant owners get out of working in their business to working on their business. That is the focus. That is the focus, because a lot of the business owners, and I get it, right? You're just there making the food even, where if you don't have that moment to step out and apply for some of these NJDA programs, or step out and look at your public relations, budget. Can you hire someone to make your restaurant week a success? So I think that program is really important because it helps you get into that different mindset of a CEO. And we have Uncle Willie's Wings. Walter Green is in our current cohort. Rashina Burrows, Blueberry Cafe, is in our cohort. Monique Bonilla from the Weekend Spot is a graduate. So people in the restaurant community in Newark have gravitated to these programs and really benefited. But going to promotions, that's like my favorite thing to talk about. We have a new tool at Invest Newark called Placer AI. We've had 96 million people visit, at some point in a year. That's a lot, right? Those aren't all different people. It's a real 9 million people, but 96 visits in Newark in a year. And how do we capture them? So we have been working, Victoria and I, and our partner Ashley Mays of the Newark Alliance. We want North to Shore to be that moment where we're capturing people this time, right? We're really going to do it. When they come out of the Prudential Center, they're going to have to see us and do Newark things and eat and shop. So I just sent the contract today. We're putting some resources behind truck, like a sign truck with the Newark Alliance. And we have this beautiful ad campaign called I'm Downtown that we've developed together. And so when people leave, they're going to see a website that goes to Victoria's things to do. And we're going to park it right outside the Prudential Center. We're going to park it outside NJ Pack. We're going to park it outside Harriet Tubman. And then we're going to be promoting Newark, the whole city. We're going to have opportunities for people to give us information. Ironbound will be reaching out, right? This is in the nascent stages, but we want North to Shore to be that opportunity where we really get people out and about. So we're super excited about this sign truck because I was hearing Vonda and I was like, yes, right? Get them out. And then we are going to do Restaurant Week again. So Restaurant Week has been around for a number of years. Tamara Remedios originally kind of brought it to fruition here in Newark, and then Invest Newark's been stewarding it for the past 4 years. And we put a lot of resources behind it last year in kind of a different way in terms of our public relations, our earned media. We were on TV. We're in, different newspapers. This year, we're going to push it again really hard, and we are going to do some influencer marketing. We've seen that a lot of interesting, like micro influencers are coming to Newark restaurants and doing these incredible videos that are getting millions of hits, and getting some really great new attention for business owners from a diversity of backgrounds across the city in all 5 wards. So we want to we're seeing that and we know it's important. So we want to put that as part of our Restaurant Week plan this year. But what Mr. Newbury said was just perfect, right? We can put out Restaurant Week, and we need that business owner to kind of meet us halfway and share those materials we're developing, share that positive news article about Restaurant Week. I think it's a incredible vehicle. We're really trying to be very authentic in our marketing. Photos of business owners, photos of people are part of this campaign that you'll see on the truck. But we're just thrilled, and I think I agree with everything that everyone said. This is the best restaurant community in probably the world. I'll say the world, okay?
Okay.
All right, and we want people to know it. So I think everyone's suggestions have been so fantastic, and I think really well taken. And I think it's exciting because a lot of those things are what the city of Newark is working on right now in all their partnerships. So very, very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. So you heard it from our panelists. I guess it's also time for us to hear it from you. where I would like to open this session for questions and answers, because obviously the main word here was it's collective effort. So we would also like to hear from you. Any questions, suggestions? I like that.
Hello, everybody. My name is Billy Thompson. I'm born and raised in Newark. Went to Barringer. Went to Barringer. I was born in Presbyterian Hospital. Was no longer here. I traveled around the world as a dancer. I grew up in the Meadowlands complex. I'm listening to everything in the room. This is a beautiful space. I hang out in Newark from places from City Rub to Bellows to Ambassadors to Rhonda's Kitchen. But how do we make a collective for the people in Newark and outsiders to feel welcome, like this gentleman said? Newark does have a stigma, and we are great. And I don't say I'm from Jersey. I'm from Newark. Oh, where you from? I'm from Newark. And where's that? It's in Jersey, but I'm from Newark.
You're right.
I'm not from New York. But how do we do this? Problem. Parking is a problem. I just hang out at BVs, but I don't anymore on event days because I go have 2 and 3 drinks and pay $50 for parking with a ticket. Unless I'm on the other side. I don't want to walk 4 blocks to find parking. I don't want, but how do we change this? How do we come together as people? Because like the gentleman here said, the East Ward. Yes, but we're Newark. Total. East Ward might want a little bit, but if they say I'm going to Newark, that includes the East Ward. How do we make the whole Newark welcome? How do we make it friendly? How do we say, the people are moving downtown, but they're not spending the money outside. They come home, go to sleep, and leave. And I know because I hang there. I go to the brewery. That's from Emily. People don't even know that Newark has a brewery. You know, how do we change the stigma as people of Newark? I mean, that's just to see, because a lot of the answers questions were answered. But how do we do this as restaurants? We have great food, and not just in the East Ward. We have great food, but how do we do collectively? Like, okay, when I grew up, they were like, oh, don't go down in there. And I'm like, oh, these are cool people. I talk to anybody and everybody.
Right.
And that's how you know people. But how do we do it together? How do we bring this together? How do we get past? My Portuguese friends don't want to come on the other side of the tracks. They don't want to. But how do we?
Not all of your Portuguese
No,
friends.
not all of them. Not all of them. But some of them.
Some of them actually
do. How do we change that? No, but how do we change that? How do we change that? You know? No, I go to Ron, but how do we change that?
No. It's I understand. Obviously.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm doing this right now. Okay, so hello, I'm Drixon Kaiser. If you know me, I run a tech startup, and this is specifically my work, and it's killing me to not actually get up and say this. So look, you make it sexy. That's how you change it. It's all about marketing. Now, what we're specifically doing with my tech startup, we're closing our first angel round. We're launching a social networking platform that we're specifically beta testing exclusively in the city of Newark, New Jersey. It's one thing to, it's one thing to post on Instagram and Facebook, but look, we know social media, it's not making us more sociable. Like, we've done the studies, it is what it is. So we will have our own social platform. And the coolest thing ever is I'm the developer. So yes, you make it sexy. You do proper marketing. You see all the photographers, videographers in this space, they're taking great photos, great media. You send it out to an editor. Editor chops it up and creates the best possible version of what this event actually. Next time we're doing SBW, we have the media already ready to go. You know, we're in a multimedia world. This is the digital age. A flyer isn't gonna cut it. You gotta have like videography, everybody smiling in this space. So yes, it is making it sexy. And again, collaborations with you guys. I love you so much.
Thank you.
Also, so platform right now, it'll be called Be Heard. Everybody wants to be heard. And our, the name of the company is called Arc Nexus. We live in Newark, so Arc Nexus. And sorry, but I'm excited that you guys will eventually hear about us as we look to launch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Following the conversation, I couldn't help myself, but following the conversation, what about great partners? What about if we use that week and we partner with the New Jersey wineries? Then they're growing and it's making the state one of the biggest of the tourists. What if I would say the Newark is the place that you learn about the New Jersey wines and all the tours and all of that? So partner with small ideas and something that is growing. So that is how you make the change.
So hi, my name is Shanice Fish, and I'm opening a Caribbean market, but I call myself Entertainment Caribbean Market. So we are a fusion of food, shopping, and entertainment, or learn something. And yes, Caribbean market, entertainment market, fusion of food, shopping, and learning stuff, entertainment. But you know, Mr. Sienna here, your mission, your business is somewhat mission based, and on this journey, pivot into that as well. You know, I am opening at 17 Linden Street, and I'm catering to a lot of students. And one of the revelation while doing the market research is that these students sometimes get one meal a day. Parents, I took the bus from East Orange into Newark trying to talk to people that are going to be at my place. And one mother said to me that, you know, her child's lunch thing is delinquent, and the kid didn't get lunch that day, and that broke my heart. I'm not a mother, but that killed me. I was raised by a single woman. And as for you, behind your mission as well, you said you work with the homeless. Did you get any support from any organization? How did you navigate that as an entrepreneur in the culinary space?
All right, so we did get a lot of support. However, receiving that support was the challenging part. Getting out there and getting to know the key actors in the agencies, the development agencies, making relationships with anyone from, you know, Invest Newark to the EDA to a councilman's office, the city of Newark. But specifically during the pandemic, which was the period where our business, you know, was born and grew. This was at a point in time when World Central Kitchen had started, and Newark Working Kitchen was a branch of World Central Kitchen. So we were part of that in the early stages of it, and it was an Audible project in the beginning, and then it was funded by the EDA afterwards. But going back to the mission part, it's at the epicenter of what we wanted to do with the cafe specifically was that if we focused on 3 things or 4 things that are imperative for the community to have, perhaps we can start growing things little by little. And the main things were the fact that the illiteracy rate is very high in Newark. It's 5th worst in the country. So we put a bookshop in the cafe. We all know that the art scene in Newark is arguably the best in the state and maybe in the tri-state. So we leaned on that. And then heavy aesthetics that promote the city, the pride that people have for it. That was another thing that we really wanted to tap into. And then obviously the food and drinks, we know those are, you know, incredibly important part of the business operations, but not losing focus that you are catering to a community, right? People who live in the vicinity, they're on your block, you know, they're your neighbors, they're your friends. And sometimes after you open the business, after you start running the operations for a few months, you run into folks like Isabel and Carlos, and these are folks that I ran into at the restaurant. I made friends there who were incredibly important to the growth of our business, and that's how I was able to meet people in City Hall, meet people at Invest Newark, meet the councilman during the campaign last year, and it's just being open to, you know, seeing different creative paths of success. There's no one particular formula for it, especially, you know, the last 3 years have been, you know, incredibly challenging, but, you know, having sort of that open mind and open heart, knowing you're catering to a community and doing kind of like your best to cater to them.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm gonna go back to what you said, being from Newark. I'm not from Newark, I'm from Brooklyn, but I live in Newark. I've lived here for 15 years. It's only been in the past 5 years I've been going out. I would rather go back to Brooklyn or to the city because it's frightening sometimes. I live in the East Ward, but I live on a neglected part of East Ward, and it's scary to go out and wanted to do something here. It's what can we do about safety? Like, I'm all for bringing people to come to restaurants here. I would love to do nothing but not have to drive and walk to a beautiful restaurant in my neighborhood. And I can't do that because I'm accosted in my neighborhood by people asking for money, people on drugs or whatever, and it's kind of scary. Like, okay, you're talking about parking or whatever, but I live here and I want to spend the money in my town, and I can't do that because I'm afraid to walk anywhere. What can we do about that? And what can we do about diversity? The Spanish restaurants, the Portuguese restaurants are wonderful here, but if I want to go to have sushi, I've got to go to another town to have sushi or Thai or whatever, like, or have a nice cocktail lounge or something like
Is that I'm seeing this is I have to give credit to the city because I don't know about you guys, but I see a park police officer on every street in the city of Newark. No, I'm not. Listen, I understand exactly where you're coming from because now I started to see that. I'm like, wow, they're everywhere. That's a great thing, and maybe we need to make sure that you get the coverage that you desire because at the end of the day, I'm seeing them. I've been here 16 years now, and I wasn't seeing them. Now I see them everywhere, and I'm like, wow, that's great. That's great. And that's why the customers come. Like they come in off 78, they turn on my street, they park, and they make the U-turn and go right back out. We got to change that. We got to address that because that's.
Where do you live?
Yeah,
Excuse me,
absolutely.
miss. Excuse me. Which block you live? Austin. Okay. By the way, let me answer your sushi. Ferry Street, Wilson Avenue. You can walk easily. You have Ferry Street, and right now we open a brand new one, Brazilian style sushi with a ceviche and everything mixing. I'm a food lady, honey. Huh? Wilson Avenue.
Wilson Avenue.
Yeah. So, we need it. We've been back and forth in the conversation. Need more communication, more information. Yes, because she's been 15 years, and sushi is right there. So we needed to put out there. Victoria, Emily, Ricardo. Y'all needed to work harder on that. Thank you.
Councilman, would you like to say something?
Really quick. The young lady lives in an area of the city, right, of the East. I don't want to get in anybody's way. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'd rather stand in front of cars.
It's fine.
The young lady lives in the area of the East Ward that is not fully developed yet, right? It's an area that there's going to be some $100 million invested there in the next couple of years. Developers, again, have sat down with me. Most of the applications and permits have all been processed. So it's a growing area. And I have a feeling that when that area grows, start going up, more and more retail is obviously going to come into that area. That end of Broad Street where she lives on is kind of like the redheaded stepchild to the north side where there's Prudential. And Prudential obviously has invested millions and millions and millions of dollars into that section of Broad Street. Now we just put the NDD into her area, right? We extended the Newark Downtown District into that area of Austin Street, where they ended at Chestnut, and now they come past Lincoln Park all the way to the viaduct to beautify that Broad Street area, to clean it up, to plant flowers, to create an atmosphere that probably hasn't existed. Again, I've been retired for 3 years, so over 30 years that I know from Newark Police, that area has been highly, highly neglected. One thing that we did that I just want to say something because somebody touched on police everywhere. And Leisha is here to attest to it. And Ricardo, how you doing? I had my back to you guys, and I apologize. What happened was, for the history of Newark Police, the 3rd precinct, which covers the Ironbound, went all the way to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. That's how far the police had to go to answer jobs from a precinct that's deep into the Ironbound here on Market Street. We cover 1 and 9. We cover half of the Pulaski Skyway. We cover the beginning of 78. We cover all the major highways. So by the time somebody called the police down in the heart of the Ironbound, they had to come from Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard to answer that call. That doesn't exist anymore. Thanks to the mayor, thanks to the police director, thanks to myself, who sat in our meetings, and we now divided the precincts up. So the Arts and Educational District is now the 9th precinct, which covers from Peter Francisco Park in the Ironbound all the way to Martin Luther King. So they have their own precinct now, the 9th precinct, which covers that young lady on Austin Street's building there. And then the 3rd precinct, which is the original one, that's well over 100 years old, covers from Peter Francisco Park inland, eastward to the Ironbound. So it's not your imagination. There's more cops on the street. Okay? There's more cops on the street. Sorry. There's more cops on the street. I have to promote Newark Police, right? I was one of them for 28 years. And when they do something bad, I'll be there as a councilman to make sure that they know, hey, this is not the way to do things. But when they work hard, and it's not an easy job in today's world and today's environment, I have to give them praise, because they do deal with a lot that goes on in this little bit crazy world we live in today. But the thing I wanted to say was that you could feel safe walking in the Ironbound. I can assure you there's plenty of police out there. You're free to look at our crime stats. You can go to newarkpolice.org and go on the ComStat, and you'll see that crime is down in East Ward. Crime is down. We had a bad January, but we've recovered. And I truly believe, I know some gentleman was saying that, I should promote the whole city, and I do. But again, at the end of the day, my responsibility are to the residents, to the business owners, to my constituents here in the East Ward. I think my other 8 council colleagues do an amazing job. Each one of them representing their ward, respectfully. The East, the Central, the North, the South, and the West. I think they do an amazing job representing their wards. But my job, why I was elected, was to make sure that the East Ward prospers. And again, I have to say it, this is not a job of one man. This is a job of people sitting up here, working collectively with Leisha and Ricardo and others in this room to make sure that we are making the people of this community proud. You know what I mean? You have to be proud. You have to have pride when you walk through a neighborhood. When you talk about this city, and I'll just end it like this. My parents came to this country in 1944. I'm the son of Portuguese immigrants, and never had one conversation at the kitchen table about ever leaving this great city, and my parents never did. We had plenty of opportunities. My parents did well for themselves, worked hard, and we could have left numerous times, but this was my parents' home. They lived the American dream here. This is where they made a living. This is where I was raised. And I'm proud to say that I am a son of the city of Newark. I am a son of the Ironbound. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councilman. Hello, everybody. My name is Cabri. I am a influencer and blogger here in Newark, New Jersey. Yes, I've been here for about 2 years. No, why am I lying? 2 years. 4 years. I moved here in 2020, and, I started off working in the social media marketing space, and then soon I transitioned into, influencer marketing. And shout out to Newark Happening. You guys helped me a lot, kind of get invested here in Newark. And my family's from here also. But I do have a 2-part question So as an influencer, I do have a roster of about 100 influencers, and I have kind of made efforts to kind of reach out to some of the restaurant owners to see if we can have, some sort of influencer events, some happenings, kind of start, get on social media, because I've reached out via social media, but I don't know how exactly to reach out to all restaurant owners and how you guys want to be contacted. So please feel free to connect with me so that we can kind of get these events going, especially for festival season. There's lots of things going on, and I've hosted a few events myself, Galentine's events that were sponsored by Newark Happening and Newark Arts and things like that. So I definitely would love to connect with you all. The second thing that I would like to say is the hours for the restaurant. So one thing that I will say is a lot of the, you guys know that a lot of the people here are artists. Our schedules aren't 9 to 5. And so we see that sometimes the restaurants kind of close a little bit early. And, no shade to those who have a set schedule based upon the demand in the area. But there are restaurants that we find that don't align with the hours on Google or on, whatever, application there is. Like the hours just don't match up. So what are we doing about that? A lot of us are out, kind of late, and we're looking for a place to eat, and spend some time. We all create and things like that, and even spaces where we can just eat, work, and things like that. What are we kind of doing about that? That's my question.
Can somebody answer that? Anybody wants to answer that? We want to stay open later, right? Really, a lot of us. We're straight tired. Okay, that's it. And like, I can speak for myself, and I say this when I say this, is that for me, I have a catering arm to my business, which is super successful, right? So I might be at the museum 2 to 3 times a week, and then New Jersey Pack, and then all my corporate accounts. I want the restaurant to be a sales tool for my business, but it's quite a difference in the business aspect from the daily operations versus a catering, right? So I know for sure that I have slacked on the restaurant marketing, right? And I've slacked in every area when it comes to that, because people show up every day, right? So I'm going to reach out to you. I want to have a great website. I want to, promote, because it's a great restaurant, but I want to promote it more. But I just have a lot on my plate from the catering. Most people will tell you, but there is opportunity in having additional people to take care of that, because that's how we fulfill, the city, right? So I'm up for it. I just learned what a creator was a couple of weeks ago.
Just quickly, I want to make mention that I know so many people have mentioned nightlife. That is one of the district's goal, is to improve the nightlife that we have in the city. We want to actually create one because we really don't have one right now. So it's one of the things we've been working on with our partners on how can we create a nightlife, and also how can we leverage the foot traffic during major events, like when we have North to Shore coming, so that a business owner is not open with any traffic, but we know North to Shore is coming. What time is that last show in? Let's collaborate and let's partner with these restaurants in the city to know, hey, this is the schedule for North to Shore weekend. Let's leverage the business during that weekend, so they're not open for any reason. They're open for a reason. We know people are going to come there. Foot traffic is going to be heavier during that time. So we kind of want to make sure that we're actually meeting the business owners too. We don't want them to stay open late and then there's no traffic. So we want to make sure that it's another thing we add. That's the things we're working with Newark Alliance and with Newark Happening, and also with Invest Newark, on those conversations on how that can look. Like, what is a night in Newark? Making sure that it makes sense and benefits everybody, and also working closely with Parking Authority on the parking issue. That's another thing we're working on, to try to make sure that we actually can provide residents and visitors with an opportunity to park their car without coming outside and getting a ticket, but we also have to make sure that the needs are met for that institution as well. So it has been conversations we're definitely working on. We definitely want a nightlife. We don't want everybody going to New York, because you go to New York, you park far, you pay a lot, and you still go to the place you go to.
You're right.
You know, so.
Any last question?
Hi, my name is Toby. I'm a CPA, and I offer back office support for businesses and do tax planning for businesses. But as an entrepreneur who also is a host for short-term rentals, and because I also have clients who are in that niche, something I find is that when clients come, guests come, especially with the ban, with the regulation thing in New York, it has attracted more people to Newark because we're just a stone throw from New York. So when people come from Switzerland, from United Kingdom, from different places to take a short-term rental in any of locations here, I'm sure there are a lot of them in downtown Newark here. One thing they say is that food, when they put in that review at the end of their stay, they say, oh, there's no food in a walking distance, or we don't know where to get good food. My question is there a bank, like an information bank, where can just say, if you're in Newark, go to this site and you'll find all these beautiful and delightful restaurant owners where you could patronize to enjoy your experience? And also, how can we keep these people in Newark? Because most of the time they come 7 days, they're staying 7 nights. Those 7 nights they're going to New York. So how can we keep them in Newark?
Well, I know that one. You can simply go to newarkhappening.com. It's the tourism department bureau. It's technically a destination marketing organization that promotes the city of Newark. So newarkhappening.com, and all of that information and more will be there. Would you like to add anything, President?
I think there's something to be said about, our institutions, right? We have NJPAC and we have Prudential Center. Prudential Center, about 2 million people a year. NJPAC, about 500,000 people. That's 2.5 million people that we don't market to. And I think that it's incumbent upon them to be helpful, to understand that they can help this city move forward by letting them know. They have all these people, yet we don't have the ability. Sometimes businesses don't have the money, to be able to market the city. Restaurant Week should be all over the arena when it's happening, and it doesn't happen. So I think that having those conversations with those that are instrumental in bringing these people, that they can allow these people to know that Newark has so much to offer.
All right, I'm going to keep this short. I'm from Newark, so I don't like to do long talks. All right, so back to this gentleman, try to bring people here and make us all one. I think everyone here has that opportunity to step forward and speak up for Newark. One of the biggest things I see on social media, every time there's a video, there's some negative comment. It doesn't matter how many followers you have. All you have to do is speak up for Newark. It will help tremendously. I do it all the time professionally. I don't use profanity. I just say, hey, show them what Newark has to offer. The parks. We have colonial parks. You can't find that in Montclair. We have so many things to offer, and Newark is pretty walkable. I lived here my whole life. I'm 32. I remember what it was like 20 years ago. My mom was mugged when I was 10, and ever since that, I remember that, and I go jogging at night. If you see something, gentlemen, if you see something, speak up. It doesn't matter if your effort, if you don't think it's gonna make an impact. Who knows? We can't leave that to chance. Like this woman here, she doesn't feel safe. All right, if I see something, who knows? Maybe that might help her. So to all my men out here, just be vigilant, or women too. If you see something, say something. I know it's so hard. Newark is a major American city. Crime is in every major city. I traveled to Chicago, Charlotte. I saw it there. I saw the homeless. There's nothing different. This is something that is going to be a collaborative effort between residents and our officials and Newark police. no matter, there's good people in every department. It doesn't matter, but we have to be collaborative in this effort. So that's all I want to say. Thank you all. Thank you for coming to Newark.
Jenny, the Andrew Peck. Well, you can go, and then Jenny.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra Florent. I'm a senior social media manager, and I also work with small businesses on their social media and digital marketing. So, shameless plug, if any of you need some social media assistance, I'm here to help, because I know it is difficult when you're doing the work and then trying to be in the business. So I know that's something that's difficult. The first thing is that I remember when we had the New York, New Jersey Super Bowl, and I worked on a bit of that as well. And what I saw was that a lot of Newark businesses were not taking advantage of the Super Bowl being in New Jersey. And just like as the young lady mentioned, not really having that marketing and stuff available. So for me, my question to you is, how are the restaurants here preparing for big festivals and big events? Like, have you started any of that marketing and just being consistent with it?
Hi everyone. I'm Jenny Wasserman. I know some of you. I just wanted to say I work at NJPAC. I am a producer on the North to Shore Festival, specifically in producing the community engagement events in Newark. And so I wanted to just respond to your comments. NJPAC wants to work with the restaurants and businesses that are in the area. We very much want to support our local businesses. So I just wanted to be able to say that out loud. If anybody in the room wants to know how to connect with NJPAC around these kind of issues, let's exchange cards. I'm not the marketing person, but I can make sure you connect with our marketing people, because we very, very, very much want to do just what you're saying, connect and support all of the businesses, because it's if you win, we win, and vice versa, you know? So, yeah.
Jenny, Brent.
Hi, I promise I'm the last one.
Last question, and then we can all network. And so.
Excellent. Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Rami Koranias Libovic, and I'll be really fast about that. Ooh. So, my whole point, I'm a lifelong Devil's season ticket holder, and I'll tell you this right now, the food at Prudential sucks. You guys, I'm being honest. I also own a social media agency, so I could go on about, the ROI and Reels and all that fun stuff. But I'm telling y'all right now, I think that every single person that owns a restaurant or food supply business in Newark needs to be pulling up at each and every Devils game, because no one wants to eat inside. And American Whiskey, I love them, but they're like always packed. The other places are always packed. I think that that's a great way to bring variety into the game experience, because my thing is, I love really Spanish food. I'm Cuban and Argentinian, so when I go to Prudential, the only thing I get is like microwave chicken tenders that are $25 or dry ass empanadas. So if you guys could coordinate a way to get permits to drive people to getting food, we would buy it. Like, real talk, all the fans would buy it, because we don't like the food at Prudential Center.
Good afternoon.
I don't understand grown men wearing another man's name on their back, but that's their devil. We're happy to serve.
Hi, my name is Deshaun Carter. I'm a Newark native, okay? Just to address a couple of things really quickly and get us out of here. This event is dope, first of all, thumbs up. Being from my entire life, right, I developed Newark area, Hooterville, Ivy area, so I moved to City of God, got put onto Portuguese language, the culture, Brazil, all that type of stuff, and I had no idea. I'm trying to go to Rio, and I could just come down neck. You know what I'm saying? So
The same thing with Portugal.
That's what I mean. I don't want to, forget my ignorance.
No,
Portugal,
no
Brazil,
Portuguese speaking. No,
the
we're
language
Spain.
and all that type of. It's the cultural draw that made me want to come down,
no,
right? So I add that, exploit that more. I think more people will come, right? Secondly, I want to say that I work in the television industry, and I just worked on a show. A lot of those people, I worked on a show called The Impact VH1, producer for television, reality TV, right? Look for locations. My job is to find locations, restaurants specifically, for people to come shoot a scene. They have dialogue, they order, you shoot the exterior signage, you shoot B-roll of everything that you can shoot. People have a conversation, ideally pay you a nice location fee, you come on television, right? A lot of times sending DMs to your social media, to your email, to that info at whatever, it's always a info at, right? Whoever you have to check that, whoever you have to check the DMs, they should be more diligent about that because there's actually opportunities for you in those inboxes, okay? Me specifically being a Newark native, I would like to form, instead of working on a project, I can know the projects that are in New Jersey and be like, hey, there's 50 restaurants. What do you guys want to do? You know what I'm saying? So I'll be reaching out to people who are film friendly because it's not for everybody. But for those of you who are interested, it's a great opportunity for exposure. And the thing is that they shoot a lot of shows in New York. But those people who were known in New York, they actually live in New Jersey. So they would rather travel from where they live in New Jersey than go regardless of where they're from in New York, okay?
Right, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Last question.
Okay, hi, I'm Michelle Santana. I have lived in and out of Newark for about 30 years. I've been Hank's neighbor for the past 10 years in Maplewood. But I am Portuguese American, so this is the first place that I lived. Did not even know English until I went to kindergarten. Like that is how like Portuguese I am ingrained to this community. Just want to make one point with the Ironbound because I do think I agree with you. There's a very negative stigma with Newark in general. I think that Down Neck has gotten a pass, definitely, because I've found myself sometimes explaining to people, yes, come to Newark and eat in Newark. No, don't be scared. We're Down Neck, right? So it's very, very true. I think there's an opportunity for the Ironbound restaurants to lift the rest of Newark, maybe towards with some sort of collective or coalition of restaurants that are not just in the Ironbounds, but throughout Newark. And I do believe that the Ironman could kind of be like, I mean, that's kind of how it started, like in the 80s, like the gateway into Newark, right? Like, let's not forget that. There's a lot of things in the Ironbound that people, like, they feel comfortable coming here. They feel safe. Like, we do have more police patrol. And I do think that things in Newark have improved over the years, for sure, but more people coming into Newark, more foot traffic, that helps with safety in every single neighborhood in and outside of the Ironbounds, because Newark is a very underpopulated city. So we don't need to move anyone out of Newark. We need to bring more people into Newark, living in Newark, coming into restaurants in Newark. But again, I do think there's an opportunity for the Ironbounds, which has flourished for many years and has really been like an economic engine for the city, to really uplift the rest of the city. So that's just my, my 2 cents.
That's it. I mean, can... No.
Just as
we're going to be opening the session for networking
just as an
opportunities.
answer to the young lady, that's the purpose of this panel. We created this panel on purpose to talk about collectively how we can empower the whole of Newark and the gastronomic culture that we have going on here, because it's very, very rich here in the Ironbound, but it's also elsewhere. And it's all about moving Newark forward. The other day I drove by, I'm actually from New York. And when I started dating Carlos, I started moving, staying over, and now I'm a full-time Newarker, okay? And the other day we were driving through a street and I saw this building that had this big lettering on it that said Newark Forward. I don't even know where the building was. But I said, you know what? Everybody should start hashtagging Newark Forward. In every little photo you post, in everything you post, Newark forward. It's not about one area over the other. It's about us uplifting each other and moving forward together, hands in hands. And that's the only way we can accomplish great things, is when we don't allow anyone else to fall. Uplift everybody.
And in the food safety, a lot of you know me because I'm in the food safety, but I will say, what about if we bring a label? Part of my business is to create a food safety culture. And if we own that brand and if we make the restaurant and expand and make it around us, the safe food culture, that will bring something that you can have a staple and move forward and expand. Move it Newark forward. Safe food culture.
Give it to that lady to be fair, and that's it.
Hi, good evening. I'll be really brief. My name is Cece Minton, and I'm the president of Harlem World Magazine. Hi, Ricardo. We would love to partner with you all. I've been in some communication. That's how I was invited tonight. I'll keep it really brief, but we have done marketing for NJPAC for many years, so we are looking forward to working with you all. One other thing about the stigma, I used to live in West Orange for 20 years. People thought I was crazy to move to North Newark. I lived in North Newark for 5 years. I no longer live here, but I saw Newark 20 years ago and people thought I was crazy. So you all are onto something big.
One, two. All right, this is it. But I would like to share with all of you. Thank you once again. Give it up for our panelists. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Great job. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you all. And thank you, our sponsors. We were talking about great stories of Newark. And when people also taste, it's not only food, it's stories. And those are the ones who really stay with us. I'd like to share a story with all of you. Ini is a student of mine in the master's program of Rutgers. And Ini, a little bit of, I don't know, Newark, but then they came to the cherry blossoms and they didn't realize that Newark wasn't all that bad. Ini also shared with me that, yes, professor, I came from economics background. I love communications. I love this master's program, but my passion is photography. I don't know if you realize together, we made Ini's dream come true tonight. So this is a testament. That's what I would like all of us to keep tonight. When we work together, when we discuss together, when we move Newark forward, like Isabel, better half said so wisely, we can keep on impacting more and more and more people and make Newark a place where we can not only fight for our dreams, but we can truly live them to the fullest. Thank you all.
Everybody, real quick. We'll be bringing out some more snacks there at the middle table. The bar in the back is open. The bar here in the front is open. To drink from our wonderful bartenders. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate you.